This just might be my favorite article I've ever written. It's about a 22-year-old artist called Jack Zebra, who is being described, perhaps reductively, as a Chinese Blade around the start of 2025. His sound was crazy, like a Chinese take on this nebulous rage plug jerk rap nexus with lyrics so submerged in the beats that, from what I hear, not even Mandarin speakers can understand it. Jack was perhaps the only artist ever to go viral on both sides of the Chinese firewall simultaneously. I'd been trying to pin down a contact for Jack for months, and in March I finally hear that he's coming to the UK for his debut performance. He's hitting up Trance Party at Corsica Studios. I'd managed to secure his first ever in-person interview outside of China, so I'm thinking we hit up the South Bank or the Dazed office, but nah. Jack wants to link me in the cemetery. So cool. I meet Jack in the cemetery on a Sunday afternoon, and despite him literally shutting down Trance Party 2 nights before, having had half the crowd singing in fake Chinese, he seemed strangely normal. He tells me that he doesn't really like crowds, that he's actually quite lazy, and really just prefers the company of nature. His favourite song? I'd even bought him a couple of bottles of Magnum tonic wine as a souvenir of UK culture, and he was like, nah, don't drink, mate. At this point, I'm not sure how I'm going to write anything interesting about Jack at all, but then I asked him about his hometown, Zhujing, a rural suburb on the outskirts of Shanghai's urban sprawl, and he told me this.
Actually, it's like this area. Yeah. It's very peaceful. It's not crowded in like downtown, Shanghai downtown.
Now, I'm not sure if Jack meant to compare his hometown to a cemetery, but he wouldn't have been totally wrong to do so. You see, over the last decade, Zhujing, like many of China's rural villages and tier 3 and 4 cities, has experienced a rapid population drain, with most of the younger generations leaving in pursuit of work in the big cities. Permeated by creeping costs of living and the dreaded 996 work culture that's 9 AM to 9 PM 6 days a week, life in post-COVID China is increasingly stressful. You might have seen some of the news stories talking about how Chinese Gen Zs are pretending to be birds, lying flat on the ground or declaring "Bai Lan," let it rot and just do nothing. The point is that Jack's striking ennui represented a wider trend of young people growing tired with the diminishing returns of Chinese work culture. He, like many others, felt like opting out entirely. It was here that the article finally started to take form. You see, Jack's not the only artist who's been making waves over the past year. There's guys like Chalky Wong, Billy and Happy, and DJ Girl. A movement that the electronic label Eastern Margins calls New China. I spoke to the label's founder, Lumi, about this scene, and he told me this. Their influences draw deep from the well of China's uncovered provinces where they grew up, from Anhui to Guizhou, Heilongjiang to Jilin, but they're equally plugged into the cutting edge of the global internet underground. There's no friction between them. They are two sides of the same interwoven cultural Mobius strip. What they are doing is giving a cultural voice to parts of China that were previously never spotlighted. In the margins of China's 3rd and 4th cities, there are a million dreams lost in the crevices of internet cafes, scooter modification shops, and at the bottom of dice barrels. These artists speak to those stories, and I think that resonates. You see, hip-hop came late to China. It was long regarded with suspicion as an outside influence, and there are stories of foreign CDs being purposely sabotaged to prevent people from listening to them. There were, of course, underground artists, but they existed firmly on the fringes. That is, until a show called The Rap of China aired in 2018. It's quite literally one of the biggest TV series of all time, being viewed over 1 billion times within its first month, and single-handedly brought rap to the Chinese mainstream. Plus, just look at these sick combo multipliers on the lyric subtitles, like rhyming with Mortal Kombat or some shit. But that was all about imitation. The Rap of China represented Chinese hip-hop finding its footing, how to flow in the tonal Chinese language and draw metaphors that were resonant with the cultural zeitgeist. Jack and the rest are what comes next, the first Chinese artists to truly make hip-hop their own. In the words of fellow rapper Billy and Happy, we really didn't have youth culture in my mum's generation because we were communist. Everyone dressed the same. Then we were influenced by America. But now that we've had enough time to mix those cultures, I think we're starting to see something new. One artist who has long been flying the flag for the underground in China is the Chinese cloud rap godfather Bloodsboy, who really deserves a video of his own. Bloodsboy actually turned down the Rap of China, saying,
"It's like a business, it's commercial, they will fuck the underground."
Rather than looking outward and copying the trends of American hip-hop, he looked inward, creating his own deeply emotional, almost folk-like elegies. He's a huge reference for many in the new China scene today, and also was something of a mentor for Jack Zebra, influencing his eerie, half-sung, half-rap sound, and encouraging him to only rap in Chinese. Indeed, what's cool about a lot of this new generation of artists is that they're drawing on distinctly Chinese cultural references. Yeah, they rap in Mandarin, but Lumi, for example, also draws a parallel between the hyperdigital sounds of the new China movement and the maximalist UI of the Chinese internet on platforms like Douyin. He told me, "The Chinese internet is noisy. Every URL crevice is crammed with information. I think in order to cut across that noise, you have to be equally as bold." But more specifically to me, Jack's music seemed to speak to the generation lost in the cracks of China's faltering economic boom. In songs like the Skylar Grey I'm Coming Home flip, If You Serious You Lose, Jack is literally drowning in the beat, caught between distant American hip-hop influences, swelling digital distortion, and aspirations for his own future. In many ways, Jack Zebra is the auto-tuned voice of post-industrial China. Jack Zebra has since become New York label collective Surf Gang's first Asian signee, and it's for all of these reasons that I think this article just might be my favourite one I've ever written. It was not just about a fascinating new artist with a new sound, but also heralds a coming change in popular music more widely. I think we're going to see a lot more trends starting in the East in 2026.